Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We are your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you doing this week?
You know me, man. I'm chilling.
That's good to hear. So, this week, we are sticking with superheroes, but we are going across the aisle back to DC. Now, we haven't been back to DC since one of our first episodes with Aquaman, but we're back because Shazam is out. Mike, what is Shazam about?
Well, Shazam is about basically a 15-year-old kid getting a whole bunch of superpowers and his experience becoming a superhero, dealing with adopted families and just all of that good family values.
Yep. So, this movie is actually a bit different from the other DC movies. First, it is a lower budget. Its budget was around 90 to 100 million, so it's not a big blockbuster like Aquaman or Man of Steel or Justice League. But with that, though, it has a solid cast, I think, with Zachary Levi and Mark Strong leading it. Along with that, we have director David Sandberg, who you may not have heard of him, but he did make Annabelle Creation, which as of now is considered the best Annabelle movie. So, if it's okay with you, Mike, can I start with what I liked about the movie?
Absolutely.
First off, I was a big fan of this movie. I was a fan of it from the first trailer. Mike, I know you had some doubts about the movie from the first trailer. I was a bit on the opposite side of that. And I sat down, I watched it. I'm not going to say it's amazing. It's not amazing. However, my expectations were met. I had a good time. It was funny. The cast was great. And actually, even though the trailers give off a family-friendly vibe, some scenes are kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it gets dark at times.
It does. Sandberg definitely, from his horror movies, definitely throws a little bit of that into this movie. But Zachary Levi, I think, absolutely kills it as Shazam. Mark Strong also, look, you can always expect a solid performance from him. He gave it again here. And he is one of those villains where you get a bit of a backstory to him, so you understand what he's doing, why he's doing it, but you don't have to agree with him, which is good, gives him a little bit of depth. He's not one of those one-note villains. And the action itself was pretty good, I thought, along with the jokes. Mike, what did you like about the movie?
Well, what I enjoyed, what I enjoyed was the fact that it kind of changed the tone of the DC universe. It was a solid movie. It's not amazing. It's not the best DC movie ever made,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely a continuous step in the right direction.
Yes.
And with this movie doing well, it is the second consecutive DC movie that has been successful and widely received positively. But that's kind of like the background noise. I thought the acting was pretty good, and the action scenes were good. Obviously, Mark Strong as a villain never disappoints, but then again, Mark Strong never does. And I know this is a pretty big role for Zachary Levi because, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's not really been the star of a movie before.
No, his biggest things was obviously if you've been around in 2000s, the Chuck TV show, and he was actually the lead voice actor for the Tangled Disney movie, but that's about it. So for him, this is his big role for like a big blockbuster.
And he didn't disappoint. He did do
No,
a pretty good job at it.
he just has like this
And
great energy for the role.
yeah, you could tell that he truly had fun and wanted to be in that role because he gave it his all and it didn't disappoint.
Yeah, and just the details about the movie. I mean, one small part I liked about was toward the end of it when they're heading to like the final battle, and you're kind of getting like that Man of Steel action vibe, right? And then Mark Strong starts monologuing, but because he's monologuing like a block down the street up in the air, Shazam can't hear him, so he starts complaining that he can't hear him. Jokes like that really make this movie.
Yeah, this movie did have a lot more comedic elements into it compared to any of the other DC films.
Yeah, but at least like what I said earlier, it's not great. Two main issues I have with the movie is the relationship between Shazam as a kid, so Billy and Freddy. It got to the point where when they have the argument, when they're having the main argument about toward the bus, saying how Shazam never showed up and all that, I was like, he never really agreed to that. So I feel like this argument isn't fully earned.
Yeah, I feel like that was a lot of forced tension.
Yeah.
that
Like, we got
didn't
to get
really.
here to set up the first fight, so let's just write it there. But it could have been developed a little more.
Yeah, I was just kind of tired of the whole Freddy versus Billy thing. It was just kind of getting annoying.
Yeah. And then another issue I had was I will say the marketing this time was great in hiding more or less the entire final battle. My issue with it, though, is that it went on too long, I think. Because you had basically from when Shazam arrived at the house to like give up his power and all that. It's more or less a fight scene the entire time, besides one or two spots. And I thought that went on a bit too long.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you.
Because there was like, what, at least two, if not three spots where it looks like, oh, Shazam's going to give up, and then something happens, and it's like, it happens over and over again until we get the Shazam family, and then finally finish the fight.
And even then, with the Shazam family, the fight didn't finish for another like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. It gives them their time to shine, but then you could have cut out a bit of the earlier part of the fight.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have any other negatives about the movie? Anything you didn't like?
Actually, kind of Mark Strong's backstory. So pretty much
Okay.
he becomes this evil guy because he was told no as a kid. And then I guess he had a falling out with the rest of his family. And then he just decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to show them all. I'm going to be this evil guy and kill everyone. Like, it was a
See,
little.
I actually liked his backstory.
I feel like there wasn't really enough there to show, like, why he really was fully committed. Because people get told no shit all the time. Doesn't drive people to be
I mean, I think
insane.
the car scene itself tells it enough. Like, it's not like, oh, he's misbehaving. It's like the father really does not like him and like treats him like a little shit. The brother treats him like a little shit. So if you had to be dealt with, you have to deal with that for years. You have a chance to get power, but you fail, and you're told no. I would understand that. Oh, he snapped. Like I could see that, especially when he gets blamed for his father becoming a cripple when it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had an issue with the development of that, that's a valid point. I was more on the side of it's decent because again we've had other villains so far in the DC universe that haven't been well developed. Fucking what's his name? Ares. Ares was kind of underdeveloped a bit.
Oh, extremely.
Yeah. So like compared to villains like that in DC, Mark Strong's Dr. Savannah is up there.
Yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like the plot was a little lagging upon that route.
Okay. So it has been announced. It's only a couple days in since the movie's released. It has been announced that a sequel will be made. So my question to you, Mike, is sequel is coming. Do you think they go with the post-credit scene of the worm called Mr. Mind or what all that, or are we going to get The Rock as Black Adam?
I think we should get Black Adam because I feel like that post-credit scene, not many people are going to know who that is.
That is true.
And also, if they take more time to develop the connection of the Worm and Mark Strong's character throughout Black Adam, it could set them up nicely for the third one. Just add more to it, so this way people aren't like, all right, what's this Worm? What does he do? Why do I care? So instead of really fully explaining it for the second one, just put it in the second one, like flashing back to Mark Strong's character over in prison or whatever.
I mean, yeah, you make a good point because right now for Black Adam, the plan is Black Adam gets its own movie. So The Rock, can develop the character throughout the movie. So when they meet up in a Shazam sequel, either 2 or 3, it's not the Batman v Superman issue. It's like the character's already developed, just let them go at it.
Yes.
But you bring up a good point. Should they leave the Worm and Mark Strong until 3? Because right now the box office numbers are okay. They're not great, but they're okay. Would you really want to go for a sequel, bring back the same bad guy with a worm,
Yeah, no. I feel
But
like
if you offer The Rock as a bad guy, which is rare in itself, that'll get people to go into theater.
The Rock is a huge money-making name.
Mm-hmm. And it's very rare he plays a bad guy. Usually he's a good guy or a good guy that's an asshole or whatever. Straight up, he's a bad guy. It's like, that's something different. So I guess before we wrap up, Mike, do you have your new rankings now for the DC universe?
Oh, you bet I do.
So we'll do our normal list from worst to best. What do you got?
Worst?
Worst.
Ooh.
Should be pretty easy.
I don't know, man. It took me a long time to think of this. I'm still kind of thinking about, Suicide Squad. The worst is obviously Suicide Squad. That movie was a complete letdown, except for obviously Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. That's probably the only good thing about that movie. After that, ooh, now this is where it kind of gets tricky.
Does it
After
get tricky
that,
though? I feel we got one more easy one.
oh yeah, Justice League. You're right. It's
Yeah,
after this that it gets kind of hard. Yeah, you're right. So it's obviously Suicide Squad, Justice League. It's gonna kill me to do this, but it's gotta be Batman vs Superman, then Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman, and then Man of Steel.
All right, Aquaman is that high on your list?
Yeah, because I hate to do it, but Batman vs Superman, as much as I love that movie, all in all, Shazam's a better film, Wonder Woman's a better film, Aquaman's a better film, and Man of Steel is the reason
Great.
why we have this universe.
Yeah. Yeah, if that bombed right out of the gate, everything would have been fucked up.
Oh yeah.
All right, so my list is, well, started out real similar. Last place, obviously, Suicide Squad, then Justice League, then I'm putting in Aquaman at 5th place. So then Batman v Superman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and then Man of Steel. So a bit different from yours, but
Yep. We all
I
have
have
our
my
opinion.
reasons. You know, obviously, Justice League, Suicide Squad. You've already talked about it. It's self-explanatory. Aquaman, I did like it. However, I just feel the other movies are just a bit better. I still have a soft spot for Batman v Superman. And yeah, Man of Steel, Shazam, and Wonder Woman are pretty good to great movies. So, all right. So, Mike, do you have any other thoughts about Shazam or the DCEU?
Nope, only that I'm excited for the universe to continue.
Yep. Next movie, technically, in the DCEU is the Birds of Prey movie in February. But in the meantime, we do have a spin-off Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix
Which
to
is
satisfy us. Which, based on that trailer, should be damn good.
yeah, the fact that we got a teaser trailer that's better than most trailers.
Yeah. That thing's blowing up on YouTube as well. Over 40 million views so far.
Let's hope it lives up to the expectation.
I think it will. I think, putting on my box office hat here for a second, it's going to kill it domestically. But internationally, I think will be a bit weaker. But hey, if it gets good reviews, this could easily be this year's Venom. A surprise superhero movie. Well, he's not really a superhero, but, a comic book movie in October that blows up. Joker could be it this year. So hopefully it does.
I hope so.
But besides that, Mike, if people want to tell us what they thought of Shazam, good or bad, or what their ranking is, or they could tell us that.
Well, you have a couple different ways to relay this information to us. Number one being if you want to go the very official route, like a business person could be said, you go to entertainmentexpansion@outlook.com. Or if you don't want to take that complicated route, just hit us up at our Instagram page, direct message us, comment under our last post at Entertainment Expansion on Instagram.
That is right. Yep. You can just tell us there. We'll read it on air. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. But that is about it for this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. Thank you for listening, and see you next week. And see you